Hey guys, welcome to Australia. It's Australia Day here in the Outback, and we just want to thank all y'all for tuning in today. This is not Teen Yacht Tuesday. This is Talking Head, Fathead Keith, talking to you today, and today's subject is going to be about cruising during the time of COVID. There's two trains of thoughts out there on COVID, cruising and going across the Pacific or the Atlantic or wherever you might be cruising at, Southeast Asia, doesn't matter. COVID presents issues and some challenges to cruising. Should you go cruising? Absolutely, you should get out there and enjoy life and start cruising, because you're not promised tomorrow and you could die of a heart attack at your desk or on the dock. So, in my opinion, get out there and go. Now, let's talk about some of the challenges you're going to face cruising during COVID. Let's use the South Pacific. That's a good one to start with. In the South Pacific, a lot of the islands are closed. French Polynesia is not closed. Fiji is not closed. They're to cruisers, and we're talking just about cruisers here. New Zealand is not closed to cruisers with restrictions on getting in there though. Australia is not closed to cruisers with restrictions coming into Australia. I think those limitations will loosen up over time as they allow more cruisers in, and over the next 3 or 4 or 5 months I think things will really start to loosen up a lot more. In the South Pacific there are countries like Tonga, Vanuatu, and other little smaller islands that are beautiful places you'd want to see, but they're going to stay closed most of this year, if not into next year too. And obviously all this depends on vaccines and whether you like the vaccine or not. Those countries getting the vaccine and shoring up their defenses against the threat of COVID to their societies and their people. Is it more expensive to cruise during COVID? Yes, it is. It'll cost you, in our experience, it's costing about $5,000 to $10,000 extra a year to adjust for the quarantines and the different things like that. Those restrictions are getting easier and easier as every day goes by, because governments are realizing how they can better take care of their people, and they're not requiring as much quarantining or they're not as much time, so forth and so on. So those are the two things. The cost is one thing, and then the limited amount of islands. You know, we left New Zealand and everybody was like, why did you leave New Zealand? Why did you leave a safe haven? Why did you choose to leave that? Because we didn't come out here to be safe. We didn't come out here to be saved. We came out here to take risks. We came out here to enjoy the wildness of the ocean. We came out here to see geography and islands. We came out here to see the life under the ocean. And we came out here to live life to the fullest on our own terms. On our own terms. Now COVID has put some restrictions in there that we're not quite living on our own terms, but I tell you, the last 5 months in Fiji felt like it was on our own terms because there was nobody around. It was a wonderful environment. I mean, when we look back in 20 years and people say, where did you spend your time during COVID? I spent mine in Fiji. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying we took a risk. That was the reward. Was there challenges to that? Absolutely. We could have got stuck in Fiji. I mean, the biggest cyclone, one of the biggest cyclones to hit that area, came through right out of the box, right there in December, right at us. And fortunately, we didn't, a lot of Fijians sustained damage on that. We did. We're very lucky, very fortunate. That was just the way it worked out. But it was adventure. It was stressful. I was stressed out, pressured up, but I felt alive. I felt like, yeah, I wasn't just sitting there on a dock dying, or sitting in an apartment or a house dying, wishing I could be out there and adventuring. So get out there. Don't let the naysayers and all the people reduce you down to fear-mongering and worried about what can happen. There are restrictions. You need to obey the laws. You need to follow the rules, or somebody could take your boat away. They're very serious about protecting their borders. And that's basically what I have to say. Get out there, live your life, and enjoy it. One thing I want to bring out though, and I want to thank, in Australia especially, a group of guys really brought and worked hard to get the safe haven thing passed, and that's the Down Under Rally and the OCC down here. Those guys worked really hard lobbying the politicians down here to focus on the cruising community. And we're small, and they got 25 million people or 20 million people here in Australia, and these guys are working hard to lobby for, 100 people. We don't show up on the radar of these governments, and so they're thinking, well, why are these people important? And we really appreciate the OCC and the Down Under Rally bringing our plight to the attention of these governments, and just a big shout out to those guys. They're a wealth of information. If you go to their website, great wealth of information there for cruising Australia. And that's what we're doing this season. So the risk was we leave New Zealand, we go to Fiji. The risk there was we get caught in a cyclone, which we did. The risk was we couldn't get into Australia, which we got into Australia. Now that we're in Australia in the time of COVID, we're going out to the West Coast. We're going to Western Australia. That's where we're going to go. We're going to go see the wild part of Australia. We're going to go the backwards way down around the south, the Australian Bight. There's great white sharks down there. There's bad weather. We're gonna get across that quickly though, because I don't like sailing in bad weather. And we're gonna get to Western Australia and the Kimberleys and the crocodiles and all these beautiful places where there are very few people right now. There's not yachties out there. Nobody wants to go out there. We're going there. That's what we want. We want that adventure. With all that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the information. If y'all have any questions, make sure you can email me at info@sailingzatara.com. If you like the show, you know what to do. Tune in Thursday as we finish our Pacific crossing. And as always, guys, I look forward to seeing you guys out there on the water.